Every December, he gives everything he has, to family, to bills, to blinking lights and endless errands. He smiles through the small talk with in-laws and distant relatives. He fights through maddening traffic, exhaustion, and overstimulation. Every ounce of himself is given, just so the season will shine for everyone else. And yet the hope remains that maybe, just maybe, there's still some magic left for him this Christmas season.
Stop. Don't move.
Josh, have you been a good boy this year?
Put your hands up.
I brought you a gift.
What are you talking about?
It's the one thing you've always wanted. In fact, it's the one thing that every man wants for Christmas.
No,
Oh, yes.
you didn't.
Oh, I absolutely did.
Did you give me a home invasion for Christmas?
Roger that. One each, home invasion brought to you by Santa. Kitchen, 10 o'clock.
How did you know? I never even wrote you a card or anything. I'm not even supposed to be that excited about this, but you knew every guy wants this kind of thing. And still, it was your idea. It wasn't mine. I'm just here partaking. I'm defending my house. This is the best Christmas ever.
It's not over yet. I got you something else.
Santa Claus. You did not have to. This is the one. You got it. Oh, and it fits. You got my size. Oh, wow. This is amazing. You even wrote me a card. No one writes me cards anymore. Dear Joshua, you've been such a good boy this year. I wanted to get you a brand new rifle and the perfect sling bag just for EDC. P.S. It has a couple extra goodies on the inside that you will need on your journey. P.P.S. Check your 3 o'clock.
Oh man, that was really cool. Hey, I think it'd probably be a good time to check the perimeter. I'd probably start on the north side, and you know what? I'll be on drone.
Okay.
Oh, great shot, man. That was a great shot. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Look low. Look low. Look low. All right, hey, there's another one on the west side. Now listen up. Check your bag and make it quiet.
Okay, that was good. It was a little messy, but that was good, Josh. Okay, here's the deal. We got to continue clearing this perimeter. We got to clear the west side, so you're going to continue to clear counterclockwise. When you make this next left turn, high, low, high. Do you understand me? High, low, high. Okay, get moving, dude.
Great work. I have one last gift for you. This man at the table is responsible for killing families every night.
And yet here he dines. Oh my gosh. Is this just like that scene from Sicario, except without the wife and kids and all this stuff? Because it was kind of messed up.
Check the back panel of your pack. Do it now.
I can take it from here. Don Pracho. Habla inglés?
See?
Then we speak English.
The man that sent you here, you think he's any different? Where do you think I learned it from? It was never personal.
It is for me.
Hey Josh, I cleaned up the mess from last night. It's what I do. Son, I'll see you next year. Oh, and P.S. I slipped sleeping meds to the whole family so you could sleep in. If they're not awake by noon, I would probably call 911.
If your man sent you this video and you're wondering to yourself, does he actually want a home invasion? Unequivocally, the answer is yes, absolutely.
But on God mode where you can't actually get shot.
True,
like
very
the opposite
true.
of a nightmare where you can't pull the trigger. This one is like no one can pull the trigger on
And
you.
your gun is stuck on full auto
Yeah.
in a good way. Now, unfortunately, that's not something that you can actually get for him, but the purpose of this video...
Sorry to keep interrupting, but technically you can. You need to access the dark web. You need like an Onion client for your computer, and then, well,
Wrong
that's
video.
a completely different video.
Different topic.
I'm getting off track. Let's get, I'll shut up.
The point is, this is the third year that we've done this. The first time that we did this, it was a little bit of a joke, and it was kind of fun for us to point out that we hate when people, specifically our family, spend money on us, and it's kind of just a waste, especially when it's our own money that we earn throughout the year. So we wanted to give some wives, some sisters, some mother-in-laws, some ideas on what guys actually want. Now, these are typically the things where if you were to ask him, hey, what do you want for Christmas? He's not going to be like, actually, there's this fire starting kit that's obscure and hard to find, but it does this. And that actually can be a little bit hard for him to do. So
We don't sit around and think about what we want for Christmas.
Not at
We're
all.
figuring out how are we going to afford to buy Christmas presents for everyone else.
Exactly.
This is
So-
what we do. We come up with these ideas that we know other dudes would like, that we know we could buy our buddies, and it's like, now you can take this video, send it to all of your friends and family, and just be like, I don't have any ideas for Christmas. You've asked me 50 times. I have no idea. Just watch this video and pick something on it. Pick something out from it.
Right,
So,
exactly. So with that, we have different pricing tiers. These are going to range from sub $5 all the way up to, I mean, if you want to spend $300, you can, but most of these are going to range from the like $40 to $120 price range. Also, if you want to go back to the previous 2 years, 2023 and 2024, ton of different ideas in there. We are not duplicating, we're just coming up with new ideas as best as we can every year, which is surprisingly really hard to do.
yeah, next year it's just going to be peace and quiet.
Yeah.
No, I'll be quiet.
I'll be peace.
Well, that's really good, actually. So with that, you want to start with the cheapest?
Let's go cheap to pricey.
Deal. All right, first on the list, guys, is a grease pencil. Now, I know that sounds kind of funny, but for anyone who's spending a ton of time outside, we're always trying to figure out how to take notes and write something down. So we've previously in other videos talked about write in the rain pens, and those are great options, but you're not always writing on a nice piece of paper. Sometimes you need to draw something on glass, your forearm, or who knows what. And having a grease pencil means that it's pretty difficult to get off, but you can get it off. It's not a Sharpie, and it's not like a ballpoint pen that's just gonna die on you when it rains. So for sub $5, a grease pencil, I love having these on my kit in my car. It just means I can always take notes and write something down if needed.
It also means you're always ready to give an autograph to a groupie.
What?
Well, so when all the canvas you have is skin.
Absolutely, ma'am. I'd love to sign your baby.
Remember the first time Fisher met us? He was like, I love you guys.
You're
and
right,
he like
dude,
opened
you're
up
right.
his shirt.
Yeah, he's like, can you sign my,
Yeah.
Forgot about that. He was so nervous. Anyway, moving on. So if you do want something that is a little bit more permanent, again, for $10, you can get map markers. So they're very, very fine Sharpies, effectively, in different colors. And I, again, love having these on kit, or I put them in my notebooks. This is my favorite size Write in the Rain notebook because I suck at drawing and so I need a big piece of paper. This one comes in at about $18, and then if you pair it with, you know, $10 map pens and a $5 grease pencil, it's honestly a pretty stellar outdoor note-taking setup.
And don't even ask him if he has map markers yet, because like I lose them all the time. I'll just lose like a single color. Like I'll go out into the field and be like, I'm only going to take blue and green this time, and then what do you know? I lose the other ones, or I lose those too. So
I'm notorious for finding blue and green map pens.
they're probably mine.
All right, moving on. So if you have a guy who is always coming to your rescue, let's say your vehicle goes down and you got a flat tire and you don't know how to change it.
Or you leave your keys in your car and it's locked for like 5 times in a row.
That's the worst. I'm always helping him out with that. In any case, tire patch kit. So for 17 bucks, you can get a tire patch kit. These do wear down over time. So if they're sitting in your car and your car is hot, the little rubber and the sealant that actually patches the hole in your tire, maybe you run over a good nail or a bad nail with your good tires. In any case, a tire patch kit for 17 bucks, man, you should at least have one of these in every vehicle. And yeah, he probably needs to have one in your car too, because he's always probably coming to your rescue.
Get him for one in his, for him to give you.
Exactly.
Your vehicle.
So 17 bucks, pretty stellar. Finally, guys, is 550 cord. So for $10, you can get him 100 feet of 550 cord. Guys are using this for everything from tying the Christmas tree onto the roof of the car to we're going camping with the kiddos and we're setting up ponchos or who knows what. But if you want to spend $20, you can get them 200 feet. This stuff is invaluable and us guys, use it a ton, can never have too much of it. So there's my list.
So let's get to the cool things because those are boring. However, we all love those things.
Yes.
Like we can never have enough. This is something that you've probably not seen before. So there's this guy whose name, his screen name is Tactical Forge. He has an Etsy shop. You know, he's making Etsy masculine again. And he makes these really cool, like little laminated notebooks that are excerpts from field manuals and from official like documents of the U.S. military. And so there's one for just about everything you can think of. Each one of these is 20 bucks. So like depending on how much you're spending on stocking stuffers this year, like just so you know, like I don't need another pack of Burt's Bees. Like I don't need Ghirardelli chocolates. Like I don't, or an orange. I don't need that stuff. Like cut out $20 of stuff that I don't need and just give me one of these or multiple. Like way to go. And these are awesome. So they cover a wide variety of topics. We have combat first aid basics. We have map reading. We have, this one's cool, dual band free. So this one's all about radio and troubleshooting comms and radios. And if you're like me, and you went out, you took a radio class, you're like, oh, I finally understand this alien language. And then a month later, you're like, crap, I don't remember any of this stuff because you have to just continually like refresh it until it becomes, you know, second nature. Having something like this that just like sits in the bathroom or sits on the nightstand or something like that, that you can just be like, oh yeah, okay, all right, cool. Like, it's awesome. We also have, this one's really cool, Russian vehicle identification. So just in case you're worried about the Russians invading, even if you just need some like fuel for those really awesome dreams that you have, this teaches you how to identify every single tank and major vehicle of the Russian military. So pretty cool. It also has a NATO version, just in case you know you're on the other side. I don't know.
Probably a lot more realistic than Russia.
Yeah, there's also breaching tactics, urban operations, patrolling, fighting positions. There's a ton of these, and you can pick and choose, or you can buy them all as a bundle. They're 20 bucks a piece. But he also makes something else that's pretty cool. By the way, we purchased all this stuff. Like none of this stuff was given to us. He also makes playing cards, typical playing cards, but on the suit side, you have different like things like squad, column, fire team, wedge, like patrolling basics and formation basics. So each one of these cards has really interesting tactical information on it. We have basic formations, we have movement techniques, we have how to react to contact, how to enter a trench, bounding and buddy rushing, crossing danger areas, squad platoon assault, troop leading procedures, and that's on each one of these. So this is something that like,
Dude, that's one of those things where I would buy the cards for the information. Oh, and then as a benefit, I can also like play games with the cards as well.
believe it or not, like when you pick up something like a Ranger handbook, it's kind of hard to identify what actually applies to me and like actually distilling down the information. These playing cards actually do a really great job of that, surprisingly, because it's just like one little nugget of info and you're like, okay, I actually understand that concept now.
Yep, and for 20 bucks, that's pretty stellar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, all right, let's move on to the next part.
Deal. Guys, as you can imagine, intros like that and the rest of this whole video are not free to make. So to ensure that you are getting really fun short films and good quality information every single week, we have some sponsors that make content possible consistently. So first and foremost, we have Ammo Squared. Now, you remember back when during Christmas people used to buy like, I got you a year subscription of magazines for, I don't know, whatever people will get magazines for. Well, if you want ammunition instead of magazines, you could just get a buddy or someone that you care a lot about ammo. And the way that this works is you log on to their website, you create an account, and you decide I want $5 or $25 every week or every other week or once a month. And it will select your preferred kind of ammo, and as soon as you reach the dollar amount that you want, it will ship it directly to your door. You can even get free shipping if you get up to $250 worth of ammunition. So Ammo Squared would be a great way to get someone ammo for an entire year. Now next is 100 Concepts. They became very well known for their light caps as well as some of their scope caps, but they've started getting into optics, even thermals. So if you're looking for an RH25 or some good quality optics, go check out 100 Concepts. And last, guys, if you're shopping for yourself or maybe you have a buddy that just got into night vision, our preferred night vision are the Nighthawk units from Steel Industries. Now when it comes to these dual tubes, they turn off when they get turned up, so you're protecting them from consistent light. They can take a battery pack, they have manual gain, and they even have onboard IR. So if you guys are looking for quality night vision, go check out Steel Industries. And with that, let's get back to the video. All right, guys, this price point is going to range from like $20 to $40 window. So first and foremost, we have the DOS boot from Die Free Co. Now, we have also spoken about how if your guy loves to shoot, he could use endless PMags, the magazines that feed the gun. But something else that's super cool are these magazine extenders. So they give you +2 rounds, and I use them on my 20-round magazines just because they're so much easier to grab out of your pouch, your chest rig, your plate carrier, and they're giving me more ammunition. So for $20, you're getting 3 of these. They still run reliably well, they work great, and they're not expensive. So Die Free Co. Das Boot.
Das Boot is also a great movie.
Never seen it.
This guy. It's literally the submarine movie that all their submarine movies were based on. So like U-571, Hunt for Red October, like Das Boot paved the way for all of that.
Okay, gonna have to see that. Yeah.
Gosh dang, dude.
Zerquetscht.
Next, for about 20 bucks, you can get a pair of crampons. I know it's a super weird name. Sounds like they should come with like, you know, a bottle of Midol and some cranberry juice, but they do work.
Cranberry juice?
Yeah. So basically these are little cleats that wrap around a pair of boots so that you have better traction on ice. They can wear out. I've used these a lot throughout the years, and I don't use them a lot, but when you need them, it's nice to have them. It's one of those things where it's like you go outside and you're like, oh my gosh, I can't go anywhere without sliding. And then you're like, I wish I had, you know, a pair of crampons. And it's like you may use them once every 2 or 3 years, but they're handy to have. Make sure that you size them for your boots, for your like winter boots, and not your tennis shoes that you wear all throughout the rest of the year. Size them for your boots, and they work great. It's just a pair of strap-on cleats. There was probably a better way to describe them.
Dude, what if they played hockey with cleats?
Well, then I could play hockey. Also, mechanics gloves. They're usually about 20 bucks a piece. These are an actually good pair of leather gloves. I've used them a lot. I did treat them whenever I bought them, but no dude can ever have too many gloves. especially mechanics. They're super inexpensive. If you burn through them, you burn through them, but these leather ones have been pretty great. So a good pair of work gloves.
All right, next we have talked a lot about batteries on this channel and in our Christmas videos, but one thing that we haven't really mentioned are rechargeable batteries. And the biggest reason for that is, man, I don't trust rechargeable batteries simply because they tend to be kind of a failure point. And if I'm putting them in my optic, if that battery fails and blows up, it's ruining the whole optic. Now, what happens when you get a company like Surefire, who is in the tactical space making rechargeable batteries? I trust them a lot more with all their testing and everything else that they do. So these come with the charger for CR123s, and that's the pattern battery that's probably the most used in our space. So for $32, you're getting 2 batteries and a recharger. So that's something that I would be using in my night vision battery pack or my EDC handheld flashlight. It just keeps me from burning through tons of money throughout the year in that style battery.
We spend a lot of money on batteries.
It's a lot.
Now this next one is not really tangible. Well, I guess it is tangible because I can hold up my phone. So it's the Onyx Off-Road app, but a subscription to it for a whole year. I know a lot of us are like, hey, we use the free Google Maps app. Well, like you don't know what you're missing out on in terms of mapping tools until you use Onyx Off-Road, which in my opinion is the best one, especially for a phone and in a friendly user interface. It's good for traveling first and foremost, but it's also good for a ton of other things. You can do some really cool stuff with it. It's online and an offline map, so even if you don't have a connection to anywhere, you can still use it. But you can use it for weird things, like you could use it for hiding stashes. So take, for example, I go out into a woods with some equipment that I want to hide, and whenever I find the place for it and I hide it and I stow it, I can take a picture of it with my phone within the app, and it will ping that location with that photograph. And let's say I want to share that cache location with a buddy, I can send that to Josh, and it's encrypted. It's just between he and I, no one else can see it. And if we have a falling out, well, I can remove his access to it, or if I'm getting really crafty, I can actually just move where it's at and send him to a different location that I have a perfect sight line of, and I can just, you know, get him.
I got him!
Just like, you know, like a Jack Henson from the Civil War on the Union soldiers.
Get them.
Yeah, it'd be dope.
The other cool thing that Onyx Off-Road does is it can also kind of be an onboard weather station to tell you what's going on around you. So let's say you want to go shoot or hike or hunt out in the woods and you want to know where is the snow falling at what altitude. Well, I tend to go shoot at this location. Oh, okay, but there's a ton of snow and ice. Great, I'm going to pack a little bit of my gear differently, and it will actually give you, via the satellites, the information to know before you go, what's the weather doing at this precise location. So again, it's a little bit more than just a mapping tool. It's a pretty versatile system. And again, for under $50, it's like 32, something like that, for an entire year, it's pretty stellar.
And just to be clear, we're not Onyx shills. Yes, they have sponsored videos on this channel. They're not sponsoring this one. Honestly, we should have charged them. But anyways, we've used this as customers for much longer than they've been sponsors of the channel. So you can call us a shill if you want. We use the crap out of it. So yeah.
Agreed.
Speaking of being out in the woods, tree steps. This is not something that you think about using until you're looking at a tree and you're like, wow, that'd be a perfect spot to like shoot shoot a deer from, right? So basically you just stick this into the side of the tree and you crank it in and you have a step, and you do this, you know, all the way up the tree, and pretty quickly you can just quickly scale a tree. It's great. And I may or may not have places all over my property, certain trees that are in the perfect vantage points with these running up the side of them, so I can quickly scale it and it would just be awesome.
Dude,
so
I'm just looking at this thinking this would be a perfect torture device in order to extract information. You like put it in someone's ear and you just like, for every wrong answer, every time you don't tell me, I'm gonna go around another rotation.
Dude, and then you can lead them around with it. Once it's in, you lead them around with it. Can you imagine?
Leaving it in and dragging them around?
This is an intro idea. This is how we come up with ideas. Dead serious. You're watching the DC behind the scenes creative section right now. Dude, you crank this into some dude's ear, and then a bad guy busts in with like a full auto something. You yank him to absorb the rounds, and then you like hit him into another bad guy, and then you like flip him down the ground. Oh, dude.
And then
or
finally,
you just and then and then you crank it out of his head, and you get another guy right in the jaw, like right here.
Yeah, yeah.
And we get the shot where it actually comes through the mouth. His mouth is wide open. It's just like, ah, and then you just rip it out the front.
And then finally, you curb stomp him with crampons at the very end to finish him.
Okay, this is gonna happen. That
Yeah.
one is 100% not gonna be monetized.
We're giving away our ideas for free.
Okay, but on a serious note, this next one is actually amazing. For all you girl dads out here, which is totally us, like, I don't know why.
Task Force Estrogen over here.
Task Force Hormone.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. TFH. But seriously, for all you girl dads, you find yourself, you know, driving your minivan, your clunker of a minivan, because you're not going to spend a lot of money on a minivan.
You're saving up for weddings.
Dude, there's nothing worse than spending money on a good minivan. Can you imagine you got $50,000 laying around and you could buy like a new truck or a new SUV, and it's just like, I'm going to buy a van.
Honda Odyssey.
Oh gosh, dude, no, I'll buy cheap. If it's a van, I'm buying it cheap. But you're driving around your van full of kids, full of girls, and there's only one thing that can make it better, and that is the official soundtrack from K-pop Demon Hunters. Now listen, before, like, I don't know what the comment section is going to do about this gift idea right now, but I'm telling you, this thing rocks. The show, dude, it's got a good message. It's crazy good. It's got a good message. It's got a good heart to it, good life lessons, and the music is just, listen, if you need to hit it, dude, I'm like driving home from dropping off the kids, and it's just like, I am hitting my napalm era, going 75 down to 45, ripping golden, or this is what it sounds
Dude,
like.
I don't know what a napalm era is, but I'm now envisioning some guy sending this video to his mother-in-law and being like, I don't know, just get me anything on the list. And then she's like, okay, I'm gonna get K-pop Demon Hunters. If you get this for Christmas, please post it on Instagram, tag us, or like email us a picture. So I want to know how many of our followers get K-pop Demon Hunters for Christmas.
Dude, it's really, it's been nothing but me sending the dudes like reels of K-pop Demon Hunter reels.
That's
in our
what this
group
is
chat.
from.
That's what this is from. And there's like some amazing like emo and like metal covers, dude. Like, oh, it's so good. All right, go on to
I don't know
something
how we
else
get
that's
back
like,
on track. We'll do the.
We are on track.
We'll do the shameless plug. So this year DC started doing multicam hats. So whether you want the Tropic, the Arid, or the original multicam, these are actual Cry multicam material. Thank goodness, no button on top. They will fit a larger melon or a smaller grape. And we also went with a super loud and gaudy logo, something a little bit more subdued. So if you're looking for a cool multicam hat, you want to support us, those are on our website too.
Your idol is really good too.
Okay, we're done with this.
Now this next one I stumbled upon because I had a problem. The problem was I had a car battery charger just in case, like, you know, the battery dies and I'm out on the road, like, this is how I would quickly recharge it. But it kept on falling out of the little bag that it came in, and I was just like, it's one of those little things, like, it would just infuriate me. I'd find it like rolling around in different areas of the vehicle. And so I was like, I'm just gonna buy some bags for this. And so I log on to Amazon, and what do you know? I find these tiger stripe little, I think they're called Mag Buddies. They're made by Savior Equipment, and there's 4 of them in a pack for 30-ish bucks. And they're amazing. They're awesome for organizing your stuff, throwing it in the vehicle. This one has my car battery recharger. This one has a bunch of, here's another gift idea, bunch of just like backup batteries, right? So you can recharge your phone or charge your radios, whatever it is. This one's actually great. We'll put links to these in the description also, but like extra external batteries are always a good play. We've got the Container X one here. This one just houses a bunch of like external batteries. So if I know I'm going on a trip, I'm just like, okay, they're not everywhere. I charge them all up and put them in this pack and they live there. So that's pretty helpful.
External batteries, never have enough of those.
Yeah, and you can never have enough of like little organizational things. And I hate spending a lot of money on just quality of life products.
Yeah.
So for the fact that these were so cheap was like, oh yeah, I'm absolutely getting these.
Nice.
You can also like mark up the fronts and label them. So yeah, man, those are great.
All right, next, I know a ton of guys have a bunch of water bottles, and if you're like me, you lose them all the time. But this is one I like enough that I'm always keeping track of it. So this is a mod can that I get from Canaan Provisions. So it's the size of a Nalgene, but it's a little bit softer. It's not that hard plastic like a Nalgene. It is antimicrobial, as well as all the other health components and such. It's not going to grow mold on the inside, but it's like a like a sports drink where you can squirt water out the front. And so if you're like, hey, I don't want to take this whole big mouth Nalgene off, I just want to have a little sip, you can certainly do that. You can also replace this top cap with an Avon gas mask size. So if you want to be able to drink your water through a gas mask, you can do that too. Or you open it all the way up and you just drink like an Nalgene.
You never drink out of a water bottle on camera because people will screenshot that and now that's meme fuel.
Thanks. You just gave everyone the idea. Golly. And moving on.
It's all right, buddy. It's all right. You'll come back from it.
I've been doing the firearms stuff and media for about 10 years, and that was the first time anyone ever told me, especially like,
you just did it again.
No,
great.
Well, who's editing this? You can cut that out, right? Anyway, I'll wrap this water bottle thing up. So, Cana Provisions, I get the one with the Decon decal on the water bottle itself. The decal just tells me information on how to actually filter and purify water. So hey, if I need to boil my water, how long does it need to boil for? Because that does depend on the temperature and the altitude. Or I have household bleach. How much should I use to actually make sure that the water is stable for me to drink? All that information comes right on the water bottle, and I feel like I have to set that water bottle down now and stop touching it. What else do you have?
Let's move on to $40 to $100.
Okay, thank goodness.
Let's start out with probably one that you have never heard of, and very likely whoever you're buying this for has also never heard of, because it's kind of guerrilla.
Yeah,
right?
Subculture, kind of niche, but super cool.
Yeah, and kind of hard to find, but we will put the link so that you can find this, and that is the Light Fighter Manifesto. This is a series of books written by a pretty cool guy and a bunch of different collaborators, and it covers a wide variety of topics that you can't really get away with talking about too publicly all the time. So we'll just put it that way. But it's super rad. This is their newest one. This one's only $10. This is volume 4. Volumes 1 through 3 you can still get. The price ranges from like 20 to 40 bucks, but they are excellent and they're amazing. Like this is volume 3. This is actually probably one of my favorite ones. Just an example of some of the articles in this book. How to create an underground resistance. How to apply base defense to your home. How to snipe on an assault, kamikaze FPV drones, scavenger kit and protocol, the art of man tracking, the future of mountain warfare, and guerrilla hacking for austere medicine. Like each one of these volumes has a different set of information in there, and they're all things that you are not going to find in most books. Not just because of the subject matter, but because these are topics that are ever evolving, and so they're written recently, not 15 years ago before
drones were a thing.
Exactly. Yeah. So I would highly suggest checking these out. Christopher Rance spearheads this project, and the Light Fighter Manifesto, like it is phenomenal.
Super cool coffee table book just to have lying around.
Yeah.
Next on the list is Wetworks Scrim. So if you have a helmet and you're out running around in the woods, having some scrim to break up that outline is super helpful. It actually helps you blend in a ton. You could add extra jute or leaves or whatever else it is that you have onto the top of your helmet. Also, if you and your buddies are like, hey, we are all wearing Multicam Tropic Scrim. It doesn't matter what helmet you have, you can throw this on and make everyone feel and look uniform. So these are fairly cheap, and for what they are, they work really well. Next is, if you have ever played with trauma shears and actually tried to cut, whether it is apparel or 550 cord or a tree branch, a small little twig, with some of those cheaper Chinese trauma shears, you and I both know that they sometimes work okay, and they can range up to $150 depending on what trauma shears you're getting. But these X shears are 45 bucks and they work phenomenally well. I don't know if it's because of the angle design, the material, or whatever it is that they did. They just flat out work, and out of the many sets of trauma shears that I have, these are the ones that I tend to keep tied to my primary kit just because they work so well. And I've used them a bunch and they're still sharp enough to just keep working for me.
So out of all the many EMTs we know who do this professionally, they're like, get these.
Yeah,
like,
that's true.
Don't get the
garbage ones.
Yeah.
Yep.
Now this next one, if the man in your life does not have a 4-wheel drive vehicle, listen, cut him some slack. the price for used four-wheel drive vehicles is outrageous right now. So some people have to go the two-wheel route. It happens. But if they do, and you live in any place that snows at least once a year or there's ice, it is helpful to have some tire chains. So there's a lot of different brands, but this is just one of them, and this comes in like a 6-pack or an 8-pack. But yeah, just chains for your tires so that, you know, you don't get to live that four-wheel drive life. You're still not really going to be going overland or anything like that, but like, man, wouldn't it be nice to just not slide down your driveway, you know, into a ditch and then have to buy another two-wheeled vehicle because you totaled your current one?
Brutal. Just buy some chains.
Yeah, so like Josh's 4Runner is two-wheel drive.
Thanks.
But dude, it has saved us numerous times.
Yeah.
Like on trips, going out to the range, going out into properties way back in the middle of nowhere. We just stop on the side of the road, we put on the chains real fast, and we're good to go. And I can't tell you how many vehicles are on the road right now that are two-wheel drive, and I guarantee you there's not a set of chains in a mile. So, yep. Tire chains.
Next is a silent Faraday bag. Once again, kind of just like Onyx, they do sponsor us. They're not sponsoring this one, but this is a product that unfortunately is very much needed these days. So if you are concerned about your own security, if you're concerned about signals coming in or going out to any degree, having a Faraday bag that you can put your phone into or your Apple Watch or whatever that is invaluable. I truly believe that every family should have at least one Faraday bag that they can start putting some of their devices in. When I have my radios sitting around not doing anything, I store them in a Faraday bag. Night vision, all those kinds of things, I protect them in a Faraday bag. So this one is just for a phone. You could throw your phone in here and still throw it in your back pocket if needed, but it is storing and protecting from moisture or bumps and bruises if you're going to be dropping your phone, and most importantly, signals coming in and out. So silent Faraday bag.
Yeah, and there's a reason why Silent is winning government contracts for Faraday bags. Because they actually work.
Yep.
They're phenomenal. They're the premium Faraday bag, let's just put it that way.
Right.
So yeah, you can't go wrong. All right, this next one is not a deal, it is a steal, and that is massive cases of MREs. Right now on Amazon, as of this video, you can buy a 24-pack of MREs, so 2 cases of 12, every menu item imaginable or available for $80. That is insanely cheap per meal. I've never seen food that cheap, and maybe there's a reason for it, but I will say that like MREs in the field, like, man, I love them. I know a lot of people hate on them, but I absolutely love them. I never go away hungry. They work great, and I just, whenever I'm done with all the stuff, I just put it back in the bag.
Yeah.
You can also use it to collect your own poop so that you don't leave any behind in the field.
A wag bag. Oh, we should do that for next year. Yeah.
A wag bag?
A poop bag.
They call it a wag bag?
Yeah.
What does WAG stand for?
WAG. And for those who don't know, the cool thing about MREs is that this can get you a hot meal. It even comes with dessert and some form of a drink, some powder that you can pour into water, and you don't have to carry around like an extra Sterno can or Jetboil or whatever else. So this alone will get you a full meal, and like Drew said, they're actually pretty tasty.
We go through these like crazy. I mean, we're out and about enough to where it's like we buy a case or 2 every year and we go through them.
We just eat through them when needed.
Yep.
Cool, next is a jacket that I've been wearing for a couple of years now. So this is a Vertex insulator. This is kind of their mid-weight level. They have some heavier weight ones if you want like super insulated. This is a phenomenal, it's probably meant for 3 seasons, but when I add layers, I'm typically wearing this all year round when needed. So it packs down pretty small. The material that's used on the inside, I believe, is Primaloft or Corloft, whichever one it is. That does a phenomenal job at keeping you warm even when it's wet. And the design itself also breathes when needed. So I don't know how companies, specifically Vertex, are designing something like this to keep you the correct temperature so you're not overheating and you're not getting too cold. But that's been kind of my go-to jacket for a number of years now, and it is my favorite. So they do sponsor us, but I've had this jacket and many like this one from Vertex long before they ever sponsored us. Now, let's say that you get a good insulator jacket that you like, but you're going out with the buddies and you want something camo to blend in. So this is the Wetworks Summer Combat Hoodie, and I understand that it is a summer combat hoodie. It's mesh. It's meant to breathe and let a bunch of humidity or temperature dump away from your body when needed. But man, because it is a little bit bigger and baggy, I also could throw this on over the top of, let's say, a black jacket that I have and still get that kind of camo property if that's what it is that I'm going for.
Also, they do make these a little bit oversized because they're designed to pull over your gear and kit. But keep in mind your winter layers. If you are bulkier than normal and you're buying like a tan version or the Arctic, like the Arctic white version, it's like maybe get it even a size larger than you think because you're naturally going to be bulkier. Right. But yeah, you could get a white one of these in Arctic, or you can get a Coyote one in tan for, like snow camo or winter camo, and just oversize it, and it's going to be like
agreed. Good. Yeah, that's the way to go.
All right, this next one I have seen for years, and I've always wanted one. So this year I actually bought myself this Christmas present. So this is the Helicon Tex Swagman Roll. So this is a Whoopee poncho that is double-sided. I love whoobies and I love ponchos, so I've heard from enough people that these are amazing, and sure enough, they are. So again, this is one of those things, it's 135 bucks. It's kind of hard to like justify buying for yourself, but if you get it as a gift, it's like, dude, yes, thank you. Like someone finally got that for me. It's essentially like a double-sided whoopee poncho, so it's great for an insulation layer, and it just has buckles and zippers. So it's a little bit nicer than a typical poncho and a little bit nicer than a typical whoopee. So depending on what kind of camo you want, you can switch it around. So keeps you warm.
That's super cool.
It's freaking rad.
Nice.
I could absolutely sleep in that, and I know I will. Speaking of ponchos, if you want to go the old school route and you're like, yo, I don't really want, whoopee style clothing. I want to go with old school wool, which Josh sings the praises of wool on just about every single video we do. But there's this company called 5 Star Alterations, and they are making wool ponchos. Now, when you throw this thing on, you're gonna look like Frodo from the Shire, or you're gonna actually kind of look like a ranger, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you look like Aragorn. They come in a lot of different colors. This one is coyote, obviously, but they make like ranger and stuff. But wool is a phenomenal insulator, even when it gets wet. And if you are a wool kind of guy, this is absolutely going to be awesome, like as a poncho.
Agreed.
So,
yeah.
Lord of the Rings or Narnia?
Both have Christian values.
Yeah, but which is better? You had to choose one.
Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, Lord of the Rings.
Yeah. All right, next, guys, we have a Lensatic compass. Now, I know that there's a lot of items out there that are known as being like an heirloom item, something that I would love to pass down to my kids. Things like a nice watch or a knife that I carry every single day. Well, some of those items could be difficult to buy for someone because it's like, oh, he wants a Tonto blade as opposed to a sheep's foot, or he wants this kind of steel for his knife, or he doesn't want that kind of whatever for his watch. A compass, that's another one of those items that you could just get a high quality compass. Now this Lensatic compass comes in at $109 and it is good quality. This is a military style Lensatic compass. And it's just one of those things where if dad has this around, if you've got a good compass, you can rely on it. And it's something else that's just cool enough that's like, yeah, I'd love to pass that down to my kids one day, because no matter what, being able to find your declination, your cardinal directions is just super cool, and it's something that everyone should know.
Yeah, and like don't waste your money on some cheap compass for us. Like seriously, like man, first of all, they're hit or miss as to whether they work. They're hit or miss even more as to whether or not they're going to work long term.
True.
This has enough weight and heft to it. I mean, they are purpose built. They are little tanks and will last a very, very long time. This I'm not going to lose. This I'm not going to toss because it's some cheap, crappy compass that I have no use for anymore.
Yeah.
It's something that you pretty much use forever.
Yeah. While it's over $100, $109, there's a reason why it's over $100. It's a good quality piece of kit.
Now this one's super cool. This is a little bit pricier at 190 bucks, but a legit airsoft Glock. Glock 19, Glock 17, doesn't matter. We get all of our airsoft equipment from Airsoft Barracks. In fact, we're going to be working with them on some different airsoft guns. But with that being said, why would we ever want an airsoft Glock when we have the real things? Well, for training purposes. You can't take, I guess you could, but you're not supposed to take an actual live fire Glock 19 to a MILSIM event to shoot other people with. So having something like I said, you could, but having something like this is amazing if you're wanting to get into milsim, or if your husband or your brother or whoever it is has never been to a milsim event, but he's kind of talked about it. Like, this is a good starting point. Having a sidearm is great. Not to mention all the dry fire and training opportunities that this gives you, so that you can practice your aiming down sight, your press outs, all that stuff without spending any money. It's great. This version actually has an optic cut on it, so I'm going to be putting my RMR or an SRO on here. And yeah, there's a couple different versions. There's the green gas kind, but there's kind of just uses good old-fashioned CO2 cartridges, which I love. And you can pretend to desk pop, like, right?
Yeah. When I first was getting into guns and I was watching people like Drew on Instagram dry firing, I wasn't old enough to actually go buy a pistol, but I had an airsoft gun, and I got a ton of reps dry firing with an airsoft gun, just getting comfortable with all that stuff. So even if you have someone who is not quite at that like 18, 21 kind of window where it's like, yeah, let's get you a handgun or you can get it yourself, this would be a phenomenal one to just practice finding the sights, getting comfortable, and it's a great training tool for both the guy who shoots a ton and someone who's still trying to get into this stuff too.
Yeah, we should probably recommend eye protection as well.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, go get eye protection. Yeah, it doesn't have to be super expensive, but good call.
Yeah, he did. All right, to wrap this up, let's go to the high price point, which is like $200 and more. Normally, I would never recommend a gift that is more than $200 because you're looking at the price range where it's like, you really want, like...
You're gonna spend that kind of money on someone to make sure that, like, you have to be positive. The exact color, UPC size,
yes,
everything has to be perfect.
Yes, but these are kind of items that I know dudes want. At least I know I did. So first one being Starlink. If your family doesn't have a Starlink, you should. Right now, a Starlink Mini, it's only like $229, which is the cheapest it's ever been. When we bought ours, it's like $500. And monthly pricing can go down as low as $0, I think. I think they have a $5 and even a $10 option. So for like $220, and let's say you go with a $10 a month option, that's $120 a year, and you have guaranteed worst case scenario disaster comms and communication abilities and internet. So it's like, it is the most important piece of preparedness in my opinion. Like, apart from guns and medical and things like that, just being able to communicate, you got to go with the Starlink. Now, if you get a Starlink, let's say you guys already have a Starlink. A couple of inexpensive upgrades to go along with it would be this is called a peak dew battery, and basically this just integrates perfectly with the back side of the Starlink. So anytime you're running a Starlink, it has to have power. So if you're out in the field, you have to carry a battery pack with you. Those can last to about 4 hours. We did a whole video on our setup. So this thing clips directly into the back of the Starlink, just like so, to make it one single unit. You don't have an extra wire going to another battery pack. It's all contained there. And you can charge this thing separately. It has a pretty decent charge time. And by the way, if you are running Starlink in the field, turn it on when you need it, turn it off when you don't. And it all just like plugs in perfectly. Now, to upgrade that a little bit more, you could put it in one of these Forge Concepts Starlink bags, Starlink packs, because camouflaging a big white Starlink in the field is actually pretty important. And this all goes together like seamlessly. Like, it just absolutely fits. You can go battery side up, so you can still see the charge that you have on it. You just fold over the edges, and like that, you have an all self-contained Starlink unit with power, and it's good to go. It's awesome. And if you attach, like I attached like other things on the back here, so I have a little tripod here. Also, that battery that you plug in has a tripod screw-in port, so you could just go Starlink directly to tripod to get that perfect angle, because we're not always setting up a Starlink on a perfectly flat piece of land. Sometimes you're in rocks, sometimes you're on a hillside. And so having a tripod to go along with it helps a lot. And then you could even throw your you could throw a router back here, so you could spread the signal to even more people than what the Starlink can do on its own. So Starlink is one of those higher priced items, but it's never been cheaper to get into the game, and I cannot recommend this enough. We have used it numerous times. We have used it to upload to this channel. Granted, I was sitting out on the beach all night for 8 hours while the video uploaded, but we still made it happen. So, yeah, I would get something like this.
Agreed. All right, guys, next is a backpack. Now, if you're thinking to yourself, my guy already has a backpack, that's fair. But guys, just like gals, love bags of their own design and their own preferences. Now, this one is the newest of the Gamut series from Vertex. And both Drew and I have been playing with and carrying Gamut backpacks for a long time. Now this one...
That was the first Vertex pack I ever bought, was a Gamut.
Yep, but this one has kind of all of the bells and whistles, all of the components, the organization, the ability to pull an extra beaver tail out and put a helmet or extra gear back there, whatever it is that you need. This bag, long story short, kind of has everything that I have wanted in a backpack, which is why we're highlighting this one. So,
which is crazy to hear you say.
Well, it's true.
Because you have a lot of packs.
I got a lot of packs over there.
It's like they took everything, and we're not just singing their praises because we're friends with them, but like...
And sponsored by, to be fair, but...
But everything that they've, I guess, kind of learned from making packs over the years, they put into this bag, and it is truly like my favorite EDC bag by a long shot now. It's just great.
I own a lot of bags because I have purchased a lot of bags because I have spent enough time figuring out I don't actually like some of these features with this one or that one. And when they kind of knock it out of the park, Vertex happened to do it. They got everything in one backpack that I wanted. You can spend a little bit less money. You can spend a little bit more money depending on the size that you want. This one is the 22 liter. Pick what you want, but this one, from the color, the size, to the zippers and the organization, they nailed it. Congratulations, well done. So if someone's looking for another good backpack, big fan of that one. Now, Drew, you have a $1,300 item on the table here.
Yeah, so this is about the cost of a new rifle, if not a little bit more, but this is actually an airsoft rifle. So one of the things that, this is not probably an item that someone's gonna be buying for you, but I know inevitably we see it in the comment section every year. You guys are like, thanks for the list. I'm not sending this to anyone. I'm just using this for myself. If you're one of those guys and you're like us and you want to do some milsim, well, we've done milsim, but I will say one of the most difficult things for gun guys to get into is milsim because it requires either blank fire rifles or airsoft guns, both of which are their own science. Believe me, we use a lot of blank fire guns on this channel, as I'm sure you've seen, and getting them to work properly always sucks. Not to mention the ammo is super expensive.
Getting that intro without any failures to feed was like awesome.
Yes, it was. In fact, yeah, everything that you saw in the intro of this was done with blank fire rifles. However, whenever it comes to milsim and practicing out with the boys, you're gonna want an airsoft gun. And for all of us who have spent our whole lives shooting real guns, whenever it comes to an airsoft gun with all these electronics and weird things about them and like MOSFET system and all these weird names, like it's a foreign language and I'm just like, I have no idea. So years ago, whenever I got my first airsoft gun, I went to Airsoft Barracks and I literally said, listen, I know nothing about this crap. Can you please just build me an airsoft rifle that looks like my own, in which case this is a BCM MCMR with an MCMR rail, 10-inch, like this is exactly what my BCM looks like. This is one-to-one, this is actually an official licensed BCM product. And they just built it for me. I didn't have to ask any questions. I didn't have to learn about it. They were available to teach me about it, but they built me an amazing rifle. And they do this on a grand scale. We've bought MCXs from them. We've bought, what was the one we bought?
The URGI, the Geisley one.
Yeah, like we don't get these for free from them. We go out and we spend our own money on these things. And they're phenomenal. And I'm able to then just hop into milsim and not have to worry about my gun going down.
It just works.
It just works. And that's what I want. I just want it to work. I don't need to know how it all functions. If I wanted to, like I could call up one of my nerd buddies and they would tell me. But I just want it to run. And so if you're looking to get into airsoft, or not really airsoft, because I don't care too much about airsoft. I care about
training with a gun like this.
If you're looking to get into a training tool, there is nothing more, I guess, kind of economically friendly than an airsoft gun. Sure, you could buy blank rifles, sure, you could buy sim guns, but in our opinion, airsoft rifles are the way to go, and Airsoft Barracks makes it easy. So with all that being said, guys, just keep in mind, like, all this stuff is cool, all this stuff is fancy. Please do not go into a penny's worth of debt for any of this. It's not worth it. Like, please do not do that. And if you have family members that are struggling, convince them to not buy you something, or give them something that's like a $10 item, right? Like, just don't, especially with the way the economy is right now, do not take on any debt. Sell some stuff this Christmas if you need to before you buy anything that we've recommended. And with that being said, I think like 99% of the items on this table we've all personally purchased. We didn't get it for free. It's just our stuff.
Yep.
So with that,
I have one thought, and then we'll kick it over to Kyle Lamb again to round this video out. So my final thought is the best present at the end of the day that you can give your family is your presence.
Yep.
Now that means physically being around on Christmas Day, during the holiday season, as well as not being on your phone. Your kids, your family, your parents, whoever it is that you're spending time with, you're not going to look back and be like, man, I'm so thankful that I spent an extra hour scrolling Instagram during the holiday season. Nope, your presence is a huge present that you can give to others.
And not just your presence, but also your attitude. And I'm preaching to the choir on this. I know the intro, we kind of like hinted at the fact that dudes have a rough time during Christmas. We don't feel sorry for ourselves.
No.
This is our lot in life. Like, it is what...
It's also a blessing.
It is. It's what we as men are our purpose to do, is to take care of others. Like, it is a blessing, not a curse. We love to poke fun at it. Now, with all that being said, how are we going to round out this? Because Christmas is not about just buying a bunch of stuff. It's not about the presents. It's not about the gifts. It's about something a lot bigger than that. And whenever Kyle Lamb was shooting the intro with us, we asked him to share a couple of words to close out this video for us. And so I think he did a pretty good job of summing it up. So thank you. Have a very Merry Christmas. We wanted to get this out before Black Friday so you guys could save on deals. And with that, here are some words from our good friend, Kyle Lamb.
Well, we had a lot of fun making this video, and I hope you enjoyed it. You know, Santa seems to come around for Christmas most years, but we just got to remember why we're really celebrating Christmas. The birth of Jesus Christ. That's why we celebrate. And I hope that you folks out there will take a minute to reflect on that with your families, have a prayer, be thankful for what you have. In our family, one thing I'm always thankful for is cranberries out of a can, because that's my favorite. So now everybody knows they can cook cranberries, but I want cranberries out of a can. That's manna sent down from heaven. All joking aside, though, as young fathers and fathers out there, and I'm a grandpa, one of the things I have to remember, it's not about us. It's about the kids. It's about our families. So say a prayer, be thankful. Yeah, enjoy the presents, but just remember that Jesus Christ was born on Christmas Day, and He is the King.